Hey guys, welcome to My Ex Appeal, Your Everything Divorce podcast. We are the friends that you didn't know you needed. My name is Joey Camaro, and I am here with
Mandy Baker.
And we are starting our first episode ever
Right now.
And go. No, this has been quite a ride because we definitely are tech challenged.
Yes.
And so if anybody needs something techie, that's not us because we're a little bit older and we're like, I could make you a mixtape, Mandy, but I can't.
I love that, but would you have to listen to the top 10 at 10 or the top 8 at 8 to get all the songs that I want on that mixtape, Joey?
Yeah, well, what I would do is on the A side, I would do all fast songs.
On the A side?
And on the B side would be the slow jams.
Hey,
am I wrong?
no, you're not.
Yeah. So
I love it.
So that's how old we are. Or I could even go a little bit further and I can go burn a CD. Which is more.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. That was a little bit later in life. So just to get an idea of how old we are mixtape old, burn a CD old.
I would lug it around in your CD case.
Yeah, all your CDs type old. So this episode today is going to be more about who we are and why we decided to do this podcast. I don't know if anybody cares, Mandy. I don't actually know if anybody's listening.
I think our moms will listen.
My dad too. My dad said,
yeah, my sister,
your sister, my sister, our friend Michelle, she's going to listen.
Michelle will listen for sure.
We've had a few people that are saying that they're going to listen. So I would say probably around 5.
But can we get a read receipt on that to make sure that they listen and don't just tell us that they listen?
They might listen for the first couple minutes, but we don't know if they're going to listen all the way through.
Well, won't they?
Yep. So that's going to be the decided. And they know who we are. But for anybody else who randomly comes across this podcast, when they go past Oprah's podcast,
and we're right below it.
Yeah. Past Chicks in the Office, all the popular ones, and they get to art, then they might want to know who we are. So
I think so. Yes, ma'am.
You tell me. And we have already discussed if we're planning on sharing our whole story because we both have children. We both have families, and there's never going to be any disrespect to anybody. We might do that. The rest of the world, we're going to
completely.
But our families, we will not. So we will share as much as we can share, but without, crossing any lines. So So you had mentioned a good way of kind of saying who you are, and it's kind of about the author on a book.
Yeah.
Or I was saying an Instagram bio. So if you could give us like the short of the long of who you are.
The short of the long of who I am. Well, I am, like you said, a mom. I am a Texan. And currently, I work between 2 different industries. I'm a fitness professional. So I run this group fitness for a large fitness company, as well as their small group fitness. So everything about moving your body and then making sure that your mind and your body are aligned. And then I'm also a divorce coach with a scratchy throat, a divorce coach. And then next year, I am going to get my certificate and license to become a mediator to join you and Mark in your endeavor in helping people just move forward with their lives. So that's a snippet of who I am. And you're going to learn more about me as we move forward through all of the opinions of all the experiences that we've gone through.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think mine's that good.
Oh, Joey, come on.
Very eloquent. Wait,
I don't know.
Like
Google.
Like it sounds, what you just said. What you said sounds like really nice. The way you said.
Well, if you're not going to speak nicely about yourself.
No, I love it.
Joey.
You.
Oh, thanks. Well, yours is going to be even better. So tell us about you.
Okay, so all right. I'm a mom. I don't know that when it comes to our accents and our geographic locations, I don't know that we could be any more opposite. With you being Texas
and you being up in Boston.
I
Western.
You sound like you're from Texas.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I do not. So
no.
I am up in Massachusetts. I am a mom of 2, and I also have 2 bonus boys. So I have, my oldest is a girl, and then there's 3 boys in our house. So I also am a divorce coach. We say divorce coach or consultant, however you consult.
I like consultant better.
Coach is kind of like a buzzword now with life coaching and things like that. And we help people through their divorce before, during, and after. So I wholeheartedly wish that I had a divorce coach when I was,
my God,
so it would have been so helpful because I was so scared and so just out of it.
I mean, talk about, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but talk about talking you off of a wall, because that hamster wheel just starts going when you're going through that. And to have a coach would make such a difference.
It really would. So I love us and what we do, for many different reasons. So divorce coaching, I am also a divorce mediator. So I mediate through divorces as well. And that is something that we do to help people through their divorce. And I came from the fitness industry as well. And that's how Mandy and I know each other. So, I have since retired from the fitness industry, which is funny to say because you don't really retire. Like there's no 401k in the fitness industry. They're just like,
you don't get a Rolex for your years of service.
No, you're like, bye. So I think the reason why we say retired is so people don't ask us to teach any classes anymore. That's why I said it, because people were like, you want to teach? And I'm like, no, I don't. So I think it was just a way of me saying that I don't want to teach anymore because our bodies are broken. Mandy's still in it. But
oh my God.
So we do. So, but I do believe that our fitness background has helped us through divorce coaching because we're very systematic. We're very goal oriented. And that's what you learn through the fitness industry. And the other thing that we can help people with, especially women, is, body dysmorphia.
Oh my gosh.
There's a side of fitness that people just don't understand, that they don't think fitness professionals go through these things that people go through like as participants, but we do. So we understand all of that and what can come with the divorce is eating disorders and all kinds of things. And you know what? We're not lawyers. We're not therapists. We're not nutritionists. We're not trying to, when we talk about these things in the podcast and we kind of link those together, we're not trying to tell you what to eat or how to exercise, but we can tell you that we get it and things that you can do to get yourself a little bit healthier. So we're not only just helping people through paperwork.
Right. Oh my God. The paperwork alone.
We can help through the emotional side through.
Well, and the thing is that we've been there. So it's not as if you're talking to someone who really is sharing with you what they think you can do. I think, Joey, we look at it as what's best for the person because everybody's different. I mean, every situation, whether you have kids, whether you don't have kids, whether you have money, whether you don't have money, every situation is different. But what needs to come out on the other side of that is a better life for you. And you need friends to help you get through that will be there to listen and guide you through what you need. You don't need anyone's, opinion about what we did.
Well, right. No. And you're right. The fact that we went through it. I mean, to me, if I'm looking for guidance from somebody, I want to go to the person who didn't necessarily go to, they don't have a college degree in that field. I want the person who went through it. I want the person who, and that's why I went into the fitness industry, because I was a person who has always had trouble, with my weight or with eating. And I eat like a 7-year-old, like chicken fingers and fries. So I get it, so that's why I went into the industry to help people to say, look, this is how I live my life. And you can take a class with me and have a good time and just have fun. And it doesn't always have to be serious. Instead of, and this is just me personally, instead of going to the person who's like super jacked and but he's different. That's just for me. I want to go to the person who went through it, not the personal trainer that doesn't understand. That's like, well, just don't eat that. Well, fuck you. Like you just been like, you're a different person than I am. I like
Exactly.
So I think having somebody who went through it, and to be honest with you, if you're listening to this and you've never been through a divorce, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And friends, and this will be a whole other episode, friends can act really weird.
It's amazing how much you find out about your friends when you go through something like this, because it's a side of you that, number one, you haven't seen before. You haven't seen this side of you.
Right.
It's not like, oh, this is my 8th divorce and
Well,
whatever. I'm a champion at this. Well, but even if you had 8 divorces, each one is different.
yeah, you have no idea that
You have no idea. No idea.
yeah, and your friends can be so weird, and then but nothing against your friends either, because they could be really good people. They just don't know how to act. They don't know. It's like when someone passes away and someone just brings a lasagna and they're like, I didn't know what else to do. Like I didn't know
It's what I brought. Yeah, it's what I brought.
So they don't know how to act either. But that's why we say we're the friends that you didn't know you needed, because we do. We're your friends now, okay?
Whether you like it or not. You're a friend. You're gonna accept it.
I'm like a bad rash that doesn't go. That's what I tell people. Just when you think you got rid of me, you're like, ew, I'm itchy again. You're like, it's me. I'm back. So,
Oh my God, I don't even know how to, I don't think I'm like, am I like, kind of.
you're a bad rash too, don't just admit it.
Y'all, listen, Joey and I, it has been such a wild ride to be on the fitness side of things with her. She was my boss when we were
Loosely.
when we were in the fitness world. And you're going to hear us talk a lot about that, just solely because it's a health thing, right? It's moving your body, and we're not as strict, I think, as we once were in a past life about how we move our body. We move. And as long as you have that movement connection, especially when you're going through something so mentally heavy, like divorce is mentally heavy.
Very heavy.
And if you don't have an outlet, a healthy outlet for that, the outcome can be a whirlwind. And I remember talking to Joey, I remember talking to you and Mark at a hotel. We were having brunch in California. And I remember, I think you were one of the first people I shared with that I was feeling this itch to have a new life.
Right.
If you will. And you said 2 things to me that still radiate. Oh, why is there balloons?
Wow. What? It was a celebration. That was a celebration.
How did that touch?
For anyone just listening, balloons. At first, I literally thought that was a real balloon. I was like, oh, God, my screen. I'm not going to lie, I thought those were real balloons at first. And then I remembered that like apps and stuff can. All right. Well, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Starting a new life. Woo. Hey. New life. Oh, good.
Anyway, you and Mark said 2 things to me. Number one, you said, everything's going to be okay. You said, no matter what happens, maybe you're going to be okay. I think you and Mark both said that to me at that breakfast. And then the second thing you said to me was, it is a shit tornado. And you are going to be stuck in the middle of it. And shit's going to come at you from the left, from the right, from the center, from the back, from upside down, from on top. And I was like, okay. And so that was something that I referenced all the way through my divorce, was I'm in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of the shit tornado. So those are the friends that y'all are getting, is just people who understand and who know that you're going to be okay.
Right.
And it will,
but it's not an easy road. That's for sure.
God, no.
No. the shit tornado, when you're in the middle of it, you're like, just get me out of it. Like, forget it. I'm just going to go back to my old life. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I don't care about the new life that I thought that I was going to have. I'm just going to go backwards because you just need to get out of that tornado.
Yeah, but don't do it.
No, don't do it.
Don't do it.
And we have people all the time that they'll say, we say what we do for a living, which is divorce, which is kind of crazy to people. And everyone I talk to, they tilt their head and they go, oh, like, that's really sad. But is it? For some people, it's not sad. And I know we obviously on this podcast, we'll make a lot of light of it. And that's because you and I are so far past it. So if somebody listens and you're in that shit tornado, we're not making fun of divorce and by any means, but we do, like you said, understand that it will be okay someday. And so we know that we can kind of make light of it a little bit sometimes. So when people say, oh, to us, that's sad, I say, but for some people, it's not. I look at it as we're helping people get set up on a road to happiness. Like, exactly. We see the light, and exactly. We can put you on that road to happiness. And so to me, that's not a bad thing at all, and obviously people are going through it. Right. So we know that they're going through it. We're not going to, and all of it. You're fine. You're good. Stop being upset. Like, it's okay to not be okay. But absolutely, someday you will be okay. And then even when you are okay, some days it's not going to be okay. Oh my God, some days, right? And you just go, what is happening? Right. And but that happens in a marriage. You're going to have days that are good and bad. So we get it. And which kind of brings us to our why, as to why we decided to get into this business, especially coming from the fitness industry. And everybody that I meet, like mediators, then because we try to do as much education as possible. And you meet mediators and they're attorneys and therapists, and their past lives are so different. I'm like, hi, I'm Joey. I can count to 8. Yeah, I teach dance classes and we twerk. Is that cool? Oh, and I also can mediate your divorce. Like, so I know it sounds ridiculous, but, it's perfect. Yeah. So, think about it. Think about if any of you out there have ever gone to a fitness class. It's the 45 minutes of your life that you're being told what to do by somebody else. You do it and you have to shut out the rest of the world. So having that background of allowing people to escape for those 45 minutes and just kind of better themselves leads us to be, I think, in my opinion, great coaches, because we know all different walks of life, and every day you're a different person. And that we've had to deal with that with crowds of hundreds at some point. Oh yeah. Yeah. And presented to we were presenters. So, so we're group fitness instructors and trainers. But we're also presenters. So we presented in front of lots of people. And we could talk for a really long time, y'all. So we've got to probably get a timer for this thing. Right. Oh, we'll talk forever. So I have to feel like 8 hours. Yeah. We won't go down the fitness road. That could be a whole podcast. Completely. But I think for us, when we're helping people and coaching people, like I said earlier, it's very systematic. So when you come in with us, we just understand goals and we help you with those goals. And your goal could be, hey, I don't even know if I want a divorce. Okay, well, let's talk about it. We're not therapists. So exactly. A therapist is a completely other thing. And I go to therapy every other week. So I know a lot about therapy on the sitting on the other side of a therapist. So we're not, you can get caught up in your feelings with us, but it's not, it's more like, okay, what do you need to do? Okay, so you're thinking about getting a divorce. Okay, let's think about, whether or not you want that, and give yourself a deadline. And if you do want to proceed with that, okay, here are the things that you need to do. Where do you begin? Do you need a lawyer? Do you need a mediator? And then if you do decide to go with a lawyer or a mediator, okay, what do you need at that meeting? What do you need at that first meeting? What do you need at the second meeting? How are you going to communicate with your soon to be ex? Because how are you it's very difficult to remove emotion from the process. But at some point, you have to put your big girl panties on, have to say, I need to remove the emotion from this for 5 seconds because this is the rest of my fucking life. So you can't just say, I'm so emotional, just give him whatever he needs. I just want to make sure everybody, you at some point you have to be like, no, I need to plan for the rest of my life. So we help you with that and help you stay on track with that. It could be after divorce, getting back into life. I help one of my clients, she used to teach dance classes.
Oh, yeah.
We wanted to get back into ballroom dancing and dance classes and things like that. So we set those goals for her to get back into ballroom dancing. So it could be anything. It could be anything.
Yeah, we help with everything. And listen, even though Joey was saying, and I totally agree, that not every divorce needs to hear, I'm sorry, because some divorces do need to happen in the case of abuse or, definitely get out of that situation. But in my work, I had 2 younger couples come to me, and one thought she wanted a divorce. And I started talking to her kind of just one-on-one, and turns out she really didn't want one. She really just needed to find a way to work on her marriage, because every time she talked about divorce, she just would cry. And he's my best friend. I love him so much. And so we worked through that, and she's still married to him. And I love that. And she's happy. And then the other one, they weren't married yet. And some issues came up. And in that case, it was kind of like hey, is it better to stay engaged and get married? Or is it better to go ahead and cut the ties now so you don't pay for a wedding and then pay for a divorce, which can be even more than your wedding, and just gently sever the ties to grow. And then if y'all come back together, then it was meant to be. But for now, and so we're not all about rah, go leave him,
Yeah, like
what is
divorce?
Yeah. No, we're not like that at all. But at the same time, I think we really do listen, and we hear what people say. I don't think I think on here, we're going to listen to respond, because that's just your and my banter.
Yeah.
But when it comes to clients, it's definitely, we don't listen to respond. We listen to truly help.
Right. Yeah. And if that means, if we have clients that say, we're going to give this a second chance, that's a win for us.
Go for it. Absolutely.
So we're not pro divorce by any means, but we're definitely there for, you're an adult, you make your decision, and then we're here for you, basically, at the end of the day. And the reason why we're doing this podcast is mostly there is so much negativity around divorce. It's gross. The way people make you feel. Some people are like, I believe in marriage. I got married again. If I didn't believe in marriage, I wouldn't have got married again. But the way people make you feel like, oh, did you do everything to make sure that you did?
God.
Okay, well, all right. That's another episode, right? So we want to try to get rid of that negativity that surrounds divorce, and not, I guess, normalize it. I don't want to sound like a dick, but normalize it a little bit more, that if that's what you decide, you didn't go to your marriage and say, oh, I can't wait to get divorced. But something along the way happened. People change, things change, goals change, life changes. And you decided at some point, whether it was you or your spouse or both of you together, you decided that those vows that you took, they no longer pertain to you anymore. And you need to move on in order for you to live a healthy life. And I know that when kids are involved, that's when people are like, well, you have kids. Okay, well, is this a good way? Is this environment good for our children? No. So, and we could talk about kids too, because I can tell you that my kids, they're happy now and they're healthy and everyone's fine. That's all I'll say.
I love that.
And so, so if we could just kind of get rid of a little bit of the negativity around divorce through this podcast, and then some of the podcasts that we've listened to with divorce, they can be, more on the serious side. We're going to have some serious topics, and we're going to have some guests in here that will go over more serious topics and education around divorce. It's not just us just babbling like today. So We're going to have all that. But for the most part, I don't think it's
a negative thing either. I think we're made to feel by, at the doctor's office, single, married, divorced, widowed.
Why does it matter?
Why does it matter if I have a sore throat, if I'm single, married, divorced, or widowed? What's the point? I stopped checking them. I did. I stopped checking them. I was like, it's none of their business. Because then they get into the whole, are you depressed? Do you need antidepressants? No, I need you to look down my fucking throat and tell me if I have strep or not so that I can go to work. It doesn't matter. So normalizing divorce and making you not feel ashamed to be a single parent, or to be, in my case, I live with my significant other. He and I live together, but we're not married. Not to say that we won't get married, but right now we're comfortable in where we are. And I've had those hard discussions with my kids because their father is remarried. And they're like, why aren't you? And I'm like, well, it's an adult decision. And you can make that decision once you're an adult.
Yep.
Till then, there make lots of decisions when you're an adult. Which is weird because by, my 13, we have 3. I have a bonus child of 14. I've got a 13-year-old son and an 11-year-old daughter, and they're impressionable. And I get that, but they also were there during the divorce. And so there's a lot of other impressions that I have to work through to get them to be, they're healthy and fine. They're fun.
Yeah.
But divorce it's heavy on you. And then it's heavy for those who didn't choose it.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't ask for it, but hopefully they're living a better life now than they would have been.
Yeah. You just got to love them a little bit more.
And speak of the devil, there's mine right now.
The kids didn't choose, but everybody's
everyone's fine. And the kids didn't choose it. So I think going back to, us and what we do and our why is the fact that, again, we've been there. And we're not therapists. We're not lawyers. You're going to hear a lot of opinions on here. And those opinions are based on our experience. So I love the fact that, Joey, you said that we're not going to talk badly about anybody in our families. And that's not the reason for this. That doesn't help you any.
No,
it doesn't help. And I think you said in one of our teasers, like, if you wanted the tea, you would have been there when I was pouring it. So we're not going to, none of that.
But, and you know what, if you want to, there's so many different ways that you can fuck up your kids.
Oh my gosh.
Married or divorced. Like there's
married or divorced.
There's so many ways that you could literally put your kids in therapy. And I mean, I'm all for therapy for kids anyway.
Absolutely.
But divorce is just one of them. So if you can just figure out a way to keep telling them it's not their fault, life is going to be fine. Like we're going to be okay. Like kids just look to you because they want to make sure that they're going to be okay. That's all.
Absolutely.
They should be. Kids are selfish and they should be. They don't.
It's not their job to understand.
Yeah, it's not their job to understand. So you can screw up your kids in so many ways. So there's a good chance that you might not do it. And you may feel that way a bunch of times. And every time you're feeling like they're feeling a certain way, then my suggestion is to just talk to them about it. Like, put it out there. Like, say, this isn't your fault. Like, this was my decision, your dad's decision, your mom's decision, whatever, your mom and your mom, your dad. It's our decision together, or, to separate. Yeah. And they don't need to know the details, and they just need to know that they're going to be.
Yeah. And there's several places, like when I was going through my divorce, I went to my church, and my church had a scholarship with a therapist and a therapy group. And I asked for that scholarship. Here I was, about to be a single mom, had worked in the fitness industry, which we know doesn't make you a whole lot of money. And I didn't know if I was going to have insurance. So I didn't know how I was going to pay for this. And they granted me a scholarship for a certain amount of session. And God, it helped. Therapy always helps.
I think it should be standard that everybody has to go to therapy, just like you're supposed to go for a checkup. I
think so too.
It should just be standard. But I will say, though, the only thing that you could do to really screw up your kid is talk bad about
Oh, hell yeah.
in front of them and to them. If you do want to, if you're like, oh, you know what? I feel like I want to screw up my kids. Talk shit about your ex in front of them. That's going to screw them up.
That's going to screw them up. And I also think my cousin who got divorced, I've talked to her as well. And her piece of advice was when you don't have your children and they're with your soon to be ex or ex spouse, don't talk about what you did when you weren't with them. Let that life be separate and be more engaged in what they did without you. How was your weekend? What did you do with dad? How was your week at school or whatever your, case may be. And that helped a lot because then I could live my life and I didn't feel like I needed to, because they don't understand. Your life was with their other parent. And then all of a sudden mom's going out and mom's in Austin for the weekend, or mom went here, or mom did this without us. Like now we're a burden because mom goes and does all these fun things without us.
Yeah. You just got to focus.
And you don't want to make them. Yeah. You just have to really make the world about.
Right. And
honestly.
Not everybody going through a divorce has kids too. So, but I mean, there's just, you could do the same thing with yourself, focus on yourself, focus on friends, things like that. So yeah. But yeah, so I pretty much sums it up with us. I don't know. What do you think, Mandy?
I think so too.
Shared everything you needed to share.
I think we're done. I think this is a one and done podcast.
I think we're done. That's it. We did it. It took us about 6 months to get our equipment set up and now we're finished.
Yeah, now we're done. Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. Throw your balloons.
Where are the balloons?
Where are your balloons?
Balloons. What did I say to make that happen?
Okay, so we did it, Mandy. We did our podcast and now we're
done.
Yep. So if anybody wants to follow along with us, listen to the next episode because we're going to have more than one episode up. So make sure that you're listening to us. Find us on Instagram. We will answer if you message us on Instagram. Is that what you say? Message us on Instagram.
DM, a direct message?
Yeah. If you slip into our DMs, we will answer all 5 of you. So make sure.
And mom, yes, the kids are fine.
Yeah. My parents, your mother. What do you call each other?
Mom.
Oh.
The kids call her Siti.
Okay.
It's Arabic for grandmother.
I love it. My grandmother's Gigi. I call my mother Ma. I love that. My mother Ma.
I know mine's mom.
I just find it interesting to hear what people call their mother.
My 11-year-old calls me mother. Mother. I know.
My friends call me mom. That's a big thing around.
Oh, that's cute.
Here in Massachusetts, it's normal to call your mother mom. So mom, which is also, they say that in like English. They say
yeah,
they say mommy. But I'm in New England, so
well, there you go. I also have graduated to bra.
Oh yeah, bros.
I'm bra every now and then. Bro, dude.
Okay, so make sure that you listen. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Send us some messages because we would love to hear from you. We want to hear your stories. If you ever want to share a story, let us know.
But a topic that you need covered.
Yeah, we're all in. But please listen. And if you are listening right now, that means that you made it to the end of our podcast. And we're definitely friends. We are bad rashes.
It won't go away.
So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you and talk to you next time.
Thanks to our listeners, sponsors, and our lawyers on my ex appeal and everything divorce.